Well, you don't violently shit out your entire bowels in one swift movement?
Attractive.
uh, Anyways, hello everyone and welcome to Anime FMK, or FMK Anime. I'm your host, Meep, joined by my co-host, Limus and McCon. Say hello, you two.
Hi.
Hello.
You can find me at soul_king777 on Twitter, but do not follow me if you are a minor, or else I will launch you into the sun.
You can find me at limits.card.co where I'm doing absolutely fuck all.
And you can find me on Twitter at that_Viking, where I do fucking nothing, but sometimes you'll see possums or memes or both. Possum memes.
Yeah, and should I mention the thing about fall now, or should I do that after retrospective?
Uh, let's do it after the retrospective?
Sure thing. Alrighty. And welcome to the retrospective, everyone. This is where we talk about all the shows that have both died and survived to the end. Let us see what we think, what our final closing thoughts on each show is. Our first show of the retrospective is Aquatope of White Sand. So I have been keeping up with this show. Its most recent episode has to do with a hurricane going through the place, and Kukuru finally coming to terms that the aquarium is closing. It's very good, and I actually don't want to say more about that because it has a lot of nice small moments in it, as well as some big ones. The show itself was very pleasant for me. I liked it. I liked every episode. There were a couple of episodes that were weaker for me. In hindsight, the one with the girl from the rival aquarium was a bit weaker, but I trust them to give that some kind of resolution with that character in the second cour, if my theory on what they're going to do for the second cour is correct. So I think that Kukuru is going to work at the new aquarium after a time skip.
Well, speculations is all good and well. The fact that nothing happened with that woman is still egregious for me.
Yeah. I feel like I've made my thoughts on this show loud and clear over the past couple of weeks that I never really clicked with it. Like, at all. Like, at most I give it a couple fucks because of one okay episode and one that was, like, really outstandingly pretty, but yeah, it just felt like I was wasting my time, like, watching this. And that's one of the worst things I think that can happen from a show to me, where I'm just like, I could be doing, like, chores or something, but instead I'm, like, watching this.
I don't know. I personally, when I watched it, every time I watched it, I always had a good time. I never felt like my time was being wasted. That's just me. I'm in a slice of life myself. Like a good slice of life can beat out a good shonen for me. But then again, I am also shonen trash, so that answer might change depending on the time of week.
I mean, for me, it's very different because I mostly have watched Slice of Life now that I think about it, and I enjoy quite a lot of shows that are doing something interesting with it. This show is doing something interesting with it, though it has had several missteps, and the point about a slice of life show is that it should be satisfying for the viewer to see something similar as real life, but in a more concise story with things happening. And without setting up something like that without any resolution and not even having it in the coming few episodes is not good.
At the end of the day, it doesn't bother me too much. It just leaves a little bit. It just leaves me wanting a bit. It doesn't leave me upset. It leaves me wanting, which, the show delivers in other aspects for me, anyways. And like I said, the two episodes after that I thought were really good. They were outstanding to me, especially episode 11. Episode 11, I think, is probably my favorite of the show so far. Like the one with the hurricane, just because it deals with so many emotions from both Kukuru and Fuka in such great ways. I don't know. Overall, I like the show. I think it's really charming. I am incredibly interested to find out what the fucking LSD trips are about.
Yeah, I mean, you can dance tango beautifully, but you can only step on so many toes until they're all broken.
Yeah.
How fragile are your toes?
Oh, how fucking. I don't know if you have been dancing with any women that aren't in high heels, but.
Be fair, I've only danced for school, and girls never really wore high heels in junior high, so fair enough.
And my ass have won dance contests, so there we go.
Wait, I did dance with my friend's girlfriend once when we were drunk.
Either way.
Though she wasn't wearing shoes, she was barefoot.
Either, yeah, like, I wish that we got more of the spiritual aspect. That may have hooked me in, like, though I don't know, I'm kind of grasping for any reason for me to say that I would have liked it, because it was just so aesthetically nice, but...
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was nothing for me. There was absolutely zero interest at all.
And I understand where you're coming from, Limbus, because the spiritual aspect is really very weak, because they used it a lot, but they used it in the exact same way every time.
Someone hallucinates a dead relative. Or, yeah, like all that with the exception of
everyone
the opening
hallucinates, everyone hallucinates a dead loved one or some sort of aquatic experience, usually a mix of both.
Well, I mean, the aquatic experience is just the motif. I think it's whatever it is. It's some sort of aquatic deity or whatever. It's just like...
Sorry, you continue.
Yeah, it's just like there's one time when I think it was used kind of interesting, and it was when, like, Kukuru and the one dude, like, had a shared hallucination, and, like, she saw, like, the sister that probably, like, died, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool way to set that up.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
They actually do explain the sister part in, I think it's episode 10. The way that they explain it, that is the vision of a sister, because the Kukuru mentions a few times that she's actually wanted an older sister. When explaining like the miracles to everyone, she explains that she saw the sister that she's always wanted. So it wasn't like it at least it's implied it's not a dead sister, but it's like her ideal sister. And the blue-haired guy, Kai, the hallucination he has actually is the hallucination of the day he met Kukuru.
Alright, so they're changed a bit, but... I mean, I'd like to have seen that variation before that. Because before that, there really was, apart from Fuka, or, Fuka, coming to the aquarium and just having a, dehydration fever dream about just getting drowned. Everyone has been seeing dead relatives until the episodes we didn't see.
No, pregnant lady saw her unborn son.
Sure.
It's not a dead relative. It's an unborn relative.
Sure. Yeah, that's a weird middle ground.
The baby isn't aborted yet.
The baby's also not a thing yet because it's part of her.
Well, it's part of her, but it's fully grown. Hell, it was born like 4 hours after. It was a living, breathing thing at that point. It was just inside of her.
Nah.
Yes, there's a reason why.
Until that baby's out, it's not alive.
It has no rights until it's out of the womb.
Hell yeah, fuck Texas.
The baby tax.
I'll get around the fucking... I'll tax evade by going around the fact by claiming I was never born.
I said Texas.
I know, but I enjoy me saying taxes. So I'm like, yes, I'll avoid that by just not being born.
I heard taxes. Oops.
Yeah. Another thing that I think was really good and really well done in this show that I forgot about because it's such a natural thing, and I like it because of that, of how natural it was. I don't remember what region of Japan this is. What was it again? Does anyone remember?
Onikawa. It's the same
Onikawa.
region that
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's
Listen.
Okinawa.
Okinawa is, from my understanding of World War II and the Pacific Front and stuff, like, most of the Pacific Front was fought in Okinawa. And I like that every now and then the scars from World War II appear. Like, just naturally. Like, with the dude and, like, the one old dude who has his hallucination. His brother was a part of the Japanese military at the time. Just, like, how natural it sounds, like, when tourist lady is driving the pregnant lady to the hospital, and she just so naturally says, they found a bomb in the middle of the road. And they just continue on with that. And it's like, that's such a great way to connect the setting and, like, actual, like, problems that would happen in Okinawa that people are still dealing with to this day, just linking it there and just linking it to history and having it actually be, Okinawa and not just Japan, but, in anime.
Imagine you're just a
Japan, but
tourist.
wet!
Japan,
Imagine
but wet!
Imagine you're a tourist driving a rental car through Okinawa. Suddenly you hear an explosion, your car is sent off a cliff. What would you think?
God damn it,
Man,
why
this
did my
place is wild.
Why did my grandpa have to sign up to be a World War II bomber? Oh, actually, that'd be really fucking interesting, though. Think about that. Like, your fucking, your parents, like, great-grandparents, your ancestors were, like, soldiers or something. One sets a mind thinking it's just a normal day. Little did you know you condemned one of your future generations to death.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a very real possibility. Probably something that happened.
Yeah.
Yep. With that, are we done with the Aquatope retrospective, or does anyone else have anything else to say?
I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, we spoke our minds on it. Generally a good show, but missteps a lot.
And I really like it. Currently, it is at it still has 13 more episodes, but currently it's at a 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoy it. It is a very relaxing show for me. Our next show for the retrospective is Itaden Deities.
Oh boy.
So
What a
I've
shame.
been keeping up. Yep, I've been keeping up with the show as well. To just describe the recent episode, it follows the demons that escaped mostly, and how a lot of them are having children, and how Miku and the two that were with her, they took the skin off of an otaku woman, and are now pretending to be her, hiding away. And it was a good episode, but all I can think is, why did the show have to fuck up as bad as it did? Why? It could have been good. It could have survived to the end if it just didn't do the disgusting jokes it did.
Yeah, it's funny, because, I mean, if the show just did less things, it would have been better.
Yeah. Hell, we've been getting good fights out of the Zobel invasion. Like actually good action, and not just the stomp fest that we got in episode 5.
It's so simple, right? It's like, this is what it's like when you just learn that one of your favorite YouTube creators is a pedophile, and it's like, it's not that hard. You didn't have to fuck up. It is so easy to just not do what you did, but yet you did, and you just flushed everything down the toilet.
I mean, yeah, while that happened, I mean, nothing's changed about their content, but it sure leaves a sour taste in your mouth if you try to wash it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Like I said, what a shame. Like, this show should have been fun. It should have been so much fun. And it was at points. Like, but yeah, it did what it did. It did the grossness that, that we talked about all that time. And the fights weren't even fun. Like, what we got in the show, the fights were boring slap fests. not slapfest, but just stomps, with the exception of one Rin fight where there's sort of a back and forth, but even then not really, because Rin's always in control of the situation, but she's at least in control in a fun and interesting way. Everything, and like the other fights we got were just, yeah, they're fighting, and yeah, the Itadens are fucking powerful. Cool.
And to mention about the thing of, they did some gross stuff. I'm not entirely against doing that and putting that in your show. But in moderation, you need to portray it in a better way. You need to have reasons for it to be there, and you need to have... If you're gonna show scenes like that, you have to show that from the perspective of one of your characters to then develop of how they are affected by having witnessed how the world can be so horrible. One of my favorite examples is the reason why Akimega Kill hooked me, because the first episode deals with the main character finding out just how fucked the world he lives in is.
And that can be interesting and cool, but it's not used for that purpose. It's used for the purpose of comedy, which is where I draw a line.
It could be used to convey to the watcher, the viewers, how fucked the world is, but you don't need to do it more than once.
And you don't need to have happy-go-lucky music playing and show it like you're supposed to be titillated by it. Like when fucking Miku is fingering her, the way it was all animated and shown, it felt like it was meant to titillate.
It was literally the hentai, no, I don't like it, but actually I do. Which is disgusting given context. And, that stuff in hentai is normally disgusting. But, we can look past it because we're just here to fucking, quick whack out. And that's it. But no, this is supposed to be a story where we're supposed to take the world at least a modicum degree of serious.
Yeah, wow, now that you mention it, Japan's porn industry is kind of rapey, huh?
Yeah, it really is. I don't watch a lot of hentai anymore.
It's either rape, incest, or a combination of the two. Luckily, I have a select few that I know of that aren't any of those.
I just dig through all the shit for the nuggets of corn.
Well, don't forget, you forgot one thing. There's also a lot of pedophilic stuff.
Oh, great.
Oh, right. Lolly and Shota.
Nothing is worse than finding something and being like, oh, all the tags are nice and wholesome. It's all nice, lolly. Fuck.
But Shota is okay because little boys like it. No, you're gross. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, just because if it's wrong one way, it's wrong the other fucking way as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No.
It's just like the one.
I mean, that's just like reality when it's just. Oh well, the news came out. This fucking 25-year-old teacher was fucking this 14-year-old student, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's so fucking lucky." And I'm sitting here like, no.
That could be horrific. It could be horrific to anyone, no matter what. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The fact that we've got on this conversation through Itaden should tell you about how we feel about the show.
That really proves how fucked this show is with what it does.
Yeah, and it just... Stuff like that really upsets me because it reminds me of an argument someone was making with me about Itaden going, well, it's girl on girl, it's okay. No,
it's not.
Other girls.
What the fuck?
Girls like it when girls touch other girls. Some don't, especially not in a rapey way. The fuck are you on about?
Girls like when other girls touch them, except for the ones that aren't gay or bi.
Or hell, don't even want to do that shit.
That's why I said the ones that aren't gay or bi, not specifically straight, just the ones that aren't into, getting touched up by other girls.
This is why they say randoms descend from raccoons.
Don't talk to people online, it's a bad time.
Yeah,
talk
especially
to people in general, really. Otherwise you'll experience shit.
Stay away from the malforms. You'll probably see me trying to cause trouble. There are some malforms where I just choose violence. Like the ones that are always like, this show is overrated because X, Y, and Z. I will just always in there post no, period, and then I never interact with the forum again.
Dude, Hell yeah, I do that every now and then.
Let me give you an upgrade to that. No period heart.
Bestie. No, I have to add bestie as well.
No. That's when you go too far. You just should be the feeling that you're giving them a no. That's the level of tone you want to give them.
Note: the show has made us so uncomfortable that we were trying to say anything, talk about anything else but Itaden and Deities.
Alright, let me talk about some shit about Itaden and Deities. They have interesting character designs. They have some really brilliant animation. They enjoy switching and playing with the colors to make some interesting scenes, though it's usually just a different color scheme when it comes to fights happening, which I don't really like. It's unnecessary. And the music, yeah, no, it is definitely a JoJo-inspired thing, but they just didn't do as interesting things as JoJo did with it. The music fucking slaps, and the fights could be good, but there's just something holding them back, and I can't really say what that is. I think it is that they're just too one-way. It's not a balanced encounter.
But you can have a good fight without it being balanced. Like, my love for... Now, I understand why people might not be into that, because, like, I'm diehard Hellsing, and I've keep comparing the show to Hellsing a lot because there's a lot of similarities. And that's one of them, one of the big ones. Overpowered protagonists, underpowered villains. There can be interesting things if you explore that. Like, if you just explore it and, like, do something with it instead of just being like, oh, statistically, the overpowered people would win 100% of the time. See some of the nuance. See some of how, like, the characters actually the villains actually try to beat the main characters and shit like that. Like, don't just have them get punched once and then fucking die.
Yeah, a similar thing to say about that, a similar comparison to make is One Punch Man also does that a lot with the limitations of Saitama can beat anyone, but he's also one guy. He can't be everywhere, and he doesn't know everything. And in a better example, Mob Psycho 100, because he has a lot of things mentally blocking him from being able to beat any enemy in this way.
Yeah, like, you know what the most frustrating part about that is?
Yeah.
It's either episode 8 or 9 that does it. It does it well. Brandy manages to catch Rin off guard when Rin drops her sword, grabs the sword, cuts Rin in half with it, and Rin barely manages to squeak by snapping Brandy's neck. It's a really cool sequence. I would highly recommend watching episodes 8 and 9 just for the fights alone.
I'll binge through it and just kind of make my assessment, because I want to see just how bad the show can get and just how good the fights can get and how good it could have been.
I don't want to hurt myself like that.
It never gets worse than the moment we killed it. I can at least say that.
Good. I was going to watch the rest of it before the retrospective, but I kind of didn't fucking want to.
Just
one
scene. That's all it took to sour us. One scene.
Well, it's a combination of 3 scenes, but the last one broke the fucking camel's back.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's only one other time where I think they make a joke on the level, or close to the level of that, and that's when the demons are talking about Shotas and how they like Shotas, but at the very least, there's nothing visual going on there. It's just,
that's as fine as it was when the fucking general was just screaming out what he wanted and everyone's rambling up what fucking horrible shit they wanted. And, yeah, that's just a level of, like, these people are just not good people.
They're just kind of cartoonishly evil in a very poignant way.
That's the level of it, and that's fine, comparably.
It's the level of detail Miku goes into it that made me uncomfortable, her being like, oh, I really want to just make a small boy addicted to my body, as she's licking and biting her lips, and it's like, and I am now uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Although it's a scene that after it happened, I just tried to forget about it, and the show is sitting at a solid 7 for me, but I don't think it'll ever go above a 7. Like, it is fucked up too much for me to put it at an 8.
I mean, I don't know what lies in the future of it, but I think it's most it can rise up to a 6 for me.
And it'll remain one of the only shows that I have, one of the only two shows that have the displeasure of sitting at a 1 for me, because if it does something to actively disgust me to the point where I'm like furious, then that deserves a 1. The other one is being a show that had probably way too much screen time last season, Koekimo, which you coerced me into watching with you.
I showed you 2 episodes. That's not even
And from this we can infer that Meep brings all the pain into Lima's life.
I brought 2 episodes of Koekimo there. The 3rd episode was the worst.
Yeah, first 2 episodes ain't good, though.
The fact that it gets worse scares me.
Here's the thing. That's also a show that could have just been good, because the animation quality, the voice acting, and the jokes they make, for the most part, are fucking good.
But once you cross that line, there's no going back. Like,
Itaden and Koekimo are a good comparison. Now I'm thinking about it. They have really fucked up shit in them, but they can be good, and that's what frustrates me. Those 2 shows
it's a good. Both are good shows that someone had to come along with their little piss-stained hands and ruin it.
It's like, it's no Bible Black or anything. Like, you go into Bible Black, it's fucked up start to finish. It's meant to be that. But these shows, they feel like they're actually going for, like, the same type of fucked up that, like, Bible Black is, masquerading as, like, a decent show.
Yeah, so my question is, like, because I'm not quite sure what Bible Black is, but I'm pretty sure it's some fucked up shit. And if it's fucked up all the way from start to finish, like, then of course that would appeal to complete fucking degenerates who are into that. But who the fuck does this appeal to?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we done with the retrospective at Itaden now? I'm just sad.
Yeah, I believe so. I think we said everything. It's a shame you had to fuck up. Good riddance.
EA Sports. What a shame.
It has 2 episodes left. Let's see what it does with Miku as the now main antagonist. This character who I'll never be able to see as an antagonist because they're just a gross thing in this show. Well, let's move on to, and this is a show we have a episode for. Yay. Let's move on to Vanitas, episode 12. Vanitas runs to check on Noe after Jian tells him Ruthven gave her the day off. Noe is forced into a pact by Ruthven to obey his command in one instance. An old monster curse bearer from the past resurfaces, and Vanitas, along with Noe, leave to investigate, with the 2 of them at odds after Noe asks to drink Vanitas' blood. As far as a finale for Vanitas could go, I am actually a little satisfied that there wasn't anything too bombastic that happened in it. With this episode being a lot of setup for the next season, I think it works, knowing that the second season is going to be in winter. It's only 1 season away.
Here's the issue. I'll never judge a finale on what it does to set up the next season. I judge a finale on what they do to wrap up the show they've been having. And in that sense, this finale was garbage.
Yeah, like, they did the best with what they could do. Like, with where they were and where the story was at. And I think that's all that we could have hoped for, really. Like, at this point.
Yeah, I think it would be better than him running over to fucking fight Ruthven and saving Noah or whatever, but here's the thing that fucking annoys me about this. As a finale, it is tremendously awful. As an episode, it is fucking fantastic.
But yeah, it was obviously not intended... Sorry, go.
Yeah, no, because setting Noe up as a ticking time bomb, having Vanitas show so much care by running to check on him, leaving Jane behind, the dynamic between Noe and Vanitas hating each other while clearly being very close friends is such a good build-up. And now with the extra conflict of Noe not really knowing why he wants to drink his blood, it's so fucking interesting. But it would have been better if this fucking show just continued instead of petering off and stopping there.
I kind of have to disagree. I like what it's doing. As far as a finale goes, I think it wraps up the events of this season really nicely, while also setting up for the next big adventure they're going on.
What do you mean wrapping up? They're in the middle of like, oh, a big wolf appeared, we're gonna go find it. End of season.
That was the best bookmark I think they could find. Like with them going on the train to another place. I'm assuming that most of what our next arc is going to be off in this other place, or at least them bumming around places and maybe coming back to Paris eventually.
Oh, yeah. This next arc is supposed to be the longest in the manga, from what I understand. So,
yeah.
You clearly work different than me. I won't judge anything on what comes next. If this is the end of the season, this is the end of the season. It's supposed to be a concise packet that can be enjoyed alone.
I mean, but it's just so not what it's supposed to be. It's like they knew from like this or an early point it was going to be 2 seasons. So like.
Yeah,
it was never advertising itself as a self-contained packet, so I don't know why we should be judging it like that.
It says season 1. Either way, I just have a lot of problems with how this ended. I don't like it.
But yeah, looking at what happened here so far in this episode, Noe as a sleeper agent. What a great setup. Like, I'm so glad that happened instead of Noe getting kidnapped like I thought.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that, because everything that happens to Noe's mentality keeps tickling that innocent little quote at the beginning of the season where he said he will have to kill Vanitas at some point.
Yeah. And I think it's at least trying to show us where it's probably going to go with that. But maybe it's just going to throw us off. Maybe this is a red herring, but like it definitely feels like that. Hey, one time you're going to do what I say and you can't stop it is totally going to probably be something. It's going to be something cool. Such a great Chekhov's gun to set up at the end of a season.
For sure.
I really like how it's implied the deal Noe is under is something similar to what Jian is under. I really like that.
I mean, it's probably the same one, considering Ruthven was probably the one who put it on Johnny.
Yeah, if this is like a power that he's probably been using for a while now, like in order to, politic his way through the vampire courts or whatever, and I'm imagining this is probably a, if you know him, well-known tactic.
I mean, as well as Vanitas been asking Johnny if she's a curse bearer the entire time, and she's not been able to say. Here's the thing. That means that either Johnny is a curse bearer. That also means that Noe is also a curse bearer now, considering his heightened taste for blood and barely being able to keep it in check. But it's also possible that is just a side effect of Ruthven's pact, which means that neither of them are curse bearers, but showing the same symptoms.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Ruthven's power, because it's heavily implied vampires in this setting get their power from drinking blood. I like to think that Ruthven's is some kind of mind control, kind of like Charlatan, because we know he's working with Charlatan.
Or it's something that
was gifted. Be Charlatan.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking it's some sort of power that that Charlatan gifted them, and maybe this is something that they can do, like that these. Yeah, the Charlatan can do is give different unique powers to different vampires, and I think that's where we might get some interesting fights and scenarios coming from.
Yeah, because if this wolf is one of Charlatan's agents, which did you guys watch the after credits?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Was that a boy or a girl?
I don't know, cagey motherfucker who said some cryptic shit in the snow.
Yeah, who knows? This fucking show,
Oh,
everyone's androgynous.
With how the show does its backgrounds and its scenery, I can't wait to see the Siberian wilderness. I can't wait to see how it handles that.
That was my one problem with this episode, my major one. That Siberian wilderness was all CG, and it looked awful.
Was it?
Yeah,
I didn't think it looked.
I don't know how you can miss it. It was pretty bad.
I'll be real with you, I missed it as well, but that might just be because the Siberian Wilderness is only in the after credits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was busy taking notes during the ED, so I guess I didn't focus too much on it as I came back as the ED closed out.
But yeah, I don't know. I was looking at this. I love the vibe of this show, and I'm worried that, like, we might get some bad CG, which, like, because the show's so pretty. I'd hate to see it just pull a full berserk, but I mean, it won't do that. It won't do that. It's fine. This was just for an after credit scene. They probably did it to save money.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just all going to be CG now.
Oh.
No. It's not even going to be CG. It's going to be claymation.
Actually, I'd watch that. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, that'd be fucking sick.
Yes. But yeah, I do agree with the fact that it doesn't feel like it doesn't work as a finale, but I don't think it was supposed to mean it wasn't supposed to be a finale from the start. Like I said, we got a season 2 announced pretty early on, and this is a long running manga. Like, there's no way in hell that they were going to wrap everything up in these 12 episodes.
Sure, yes. It's by far not the worst wrap up to a season I've seen. That's that honor stays with Shadow's House. But just with the goal the show has brought us before, it just kind of makes me mad in the same way Shadow's House did, but at least the rest of the episode was actually good.
Okay, you want to know what one of the worst end of season things I've ever seen is?
Sure.
Motherfucking Code Geass. And
I remember, yeah.
Oh, it was so awful.
Code Geass a while back, and then like 3 years later, I'm like, yeah, it just ends weirdly though, and they're like, there's a second season. I'm like, hold up, what?
It's so
still haven't watched it.
Fuck the finale. It's like
bad. It's like I remember being really pissed off. Doesn't it end with like fucking basically, oh, 2 main characters just fucking died, and then it just continues on in the second season. I mean, I get it was supposed to be like a setup for the second season, but it made me so furious. I'm like, you presumptuous bastards! You seriously put this major cliffhanger here.
It was too long for me to remember, but I think it was 2 of the main characters pointing a gun at each other, and that's where it ended.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but that's the feeling I get.
Slime season 1 ends with a filler episode dedicated to a character who's hardly involved with the main cast.
Oh no!
Yikes!
That's a yikes.
That's mine. See.
Anyway, I think we should wrap up the final episode of Vanitas.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck it. I liked it. I'm excited for season 2.
Despite how much it puts a sour taste in my mouth, I can't bring myself to kill this episode. It's just way too fucking good. But it's just my distaste of how the ending is handled here. It's bumping it down from a 10 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. That's really everything it does for it. It's still a fantastic fucking show. I'm fucking it.
Oh yeah, Meep. What number rating would you give it after this episode?
Let me check, because I did mark it as finished. I think it's still at a 9. Let me see. Completed. Vanitas. It should be at V. Yeah, it's at a 9 out of 10 for me.
I also give it a 9 out of 10. Like, yeah, it's entranced me in a way that, like, the best stories have, where, like, I'm actually sitting there, I'm watching things, I'm invested in the characters, I'm thinking about the plot constantly, and I just wanted to binge this all in one sitting. Like, every episode. And this episode was the same. It had some weird moments. Like, the only thing that was a finale about it was the fact that the opening played over top of a conversation that a couple people had. That was it. But besides that, it was a fun episode. I'm so excited. I'm excited for this next season. Like, I can't wait. I actually can't wait. I've found a read order, and I'm gonna start reading the manga soon.
Yeah,
So,
I'm also excited for it.
That's a fuck for me.
Alrighty. That is a trifecta for the case study of Vanitas, episode 12, the finale.
I believe
Anyone have any...
I believe that's also a perfect run.
It is.
Hell yeah. Anyone have any proposals?
I do. I'm gonna fucking marry the fuck out of this show because it is fucking good.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
I was sold on the manga, like, by the 5th episode. Of course I was gonna be down with the show. Like, I'm so happy that I locked this instead of Knight's Head.
I watched an episode of that.
Oh, is it not great?
Thank you for not locking it. That shit was like X-Arm 2.
Oh,
Well,
God.
I'm unhappy with what I locked, but it was between locking Itaden Deities and the next show in our list.
The next show on our list, well, let's move on to Peach Boy Riverside for the retrospective. What the fuck was this show's production?
What the fuck happened?
Who tripped and just mixed up all the fucking papers on this show and just fucking scrambled them together and went like, yeah, it'll be alright. I don't need to fucking sort through this.
It's fine fantasy, but for some fucking reason someone took a machete to it.
I mean, it would be a good show. Fucking, maybe even great if it were just in order.
I think it'd be okay. Like, from what I've seen, like, I'd seen a lot of I would prefer, I would definitely agree with a lot of people giving it a 7 or a 6 or something, but...
I mean, me saying it'd be good or great is me giving it a 6 or a 7.
Okay. And, yeah, it's a shame it never had the chance. It didn't even get the chance because of how butchered it was. Like, the order is about as scuffed as the fucking Mother's Basement JoJo's watch order.
Oh, what was JoJo's watch order? I need to hear this.
Oh god, please. Yeah.
It's fucking awful. Let me find it.
I know it's really fucking stupid, because you want to know the proper watch order for JoJo? Part 1 to 5, in that order.
Alright, here we go. Open a new tab. No, fuck you.
Does he say start with part 5?
He says start with part 4. Okay, so it starts with Diamond, then you go to Battle Tendency, then Golden Wind, then Stardust, Season 1 of Stardust, and then you watch Phantom Blood, and then you watch the second half of Stardust. And then Stone Ocean, Steel Ball, and JoJo Leon.
He's a fucking lunatic.
What the fuck?
And it's weird shit like, oh, your first introduction to Joseph is old man, dementia-ridden Joseph. And then you go straight to Battle Tendency.
Yeah, I mean, the first introduction is also to Jotaro when he's grown up and no longer a hard-ass little shit.
It's like, starting with Golden Wind, Diamond, and Battle Tendency is gonna make Stardust and Phantom Blood feel like eating glass when it comes to watching the fights.
Phantom Blood is gonna be just garbage if you watch it like that. And more than it already is.
Mm-hmm.
You don't you go from like some of the best stands, and then you fucking end off with the worst ones from part 3.
It's literally right in the middle. You just have boring fights after just like god tier ones.
JoJo just gets better as it progresses, and that's just how it's always been. So just watch it in that progression and have it just constantly be a ramp up of being better the more you watch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey. That one person who came to our chat a while back and just posted, talk about JoJo's, finally got what he wanted.
Hey, we're talking about JoJo!
Aha! And not the show that we're supposed to be talking.
But
well,
yeah,
we were talking about it because of a segmented fucking stupid idea for putting the show together, which doesn't make any fucking sense to anyone that has half a brain.
I know, I just find it funny.
But yeah, like, that is the same vibes that I get from how this show went out. It's like someone thought that this order would be a good idea, but like, it's so fucking not.
In what existence is this order a good idea?
Does Sally ever, like, get, like, not stronger physically, but, like, does her character ever become stronger a bit? Because I remember she was kind of one of the weaker parts of the show for me. She felt kind
Yes.
of...
Do you mean if she gets more proficient at fighting, or just more confident and outgoing? Because she's always been a strong character when it comes to following her ideals.
Like, I felt she was a bit of a generic character. I was wondering if she ever got out of that. Like, if she ever, like, got something to stand out, other, like, character-wise.
Oh, like, personality-wise? No, she's bland the whole way through. But her power, she does eventually gain control over her powers, so she does technically become stronger. Though, the time that she does gain control of her powers is, guess what? By the end of the season, which should have come sooner. So she's just randomly in control of her powers in the middle of the series. And we're just like, okay, I guess she can control it now.
What the fuck?
It's like, I see stuff like Frau, like what happened with Frau. Frau was so cool and interesting in the one episode that we get of them, where they get exploded, and the angel just sort of, and you know, they appear in heaven, and the angel looks at them, and it's just like, oh, fucking you again? Alright, sure, get back down. Get back down. Don't do this again. Yeah, that's fucking cool.
Like, that sounds like a great fucking premise for something, but the show is so scuffed, it's impossible to watch. Do we even have anything else to say about Peach Boy?
I mean, I don't. It scuffed to hell and back. It was not given a chance to shine. Like, in both senses of the word, like, both in our own show and the actual, and how it was published. Yeah, it just wasn't given any chance. Like, we didn't give it a chance, and that was the right choice, because the director didn't.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't even remember I can't really remember the reason why I killed it on episode 2. I think it was because I kinda... Oh, right, it was the stuff with the Oni that kinda killed it for me. Like, when they're like, oh, well, you're a mass murderer, but you seem like a good person, so we'll let you go. Fucking no!
And it should have been about those flaws for why we killed it. And why it's bad should be about those flaws, where it just ignores the fact that one character definitely killed a bunch of innocent people, including children. But it's not. It's about how the show got fucking butchered.
Yeah, like, trust me, I like a good villain redemption, but it needs time. Like, people don't just immediately forgive Vegeta for blowing up planets. They're like, no, bro, that's kind of fucked up. Get out of here.
But yeah. That's Peach Boy. Does anyone else have anything to say about it?
Not really. Peach Boy, you were about as scuffed as my boxers. Really? No laughs there?
You get silence.
Well, with that, should we take a little bit of break, gentlemen?
Sure.
Take a quick bio break. And we'll be back with
Beach
everyone
Boy,
soon.
it's just a disappointing mess. It's a shame it wasn't good. Because it did some cool animation stuff with the flash eye and everything. Sorry, I got interrupted by a bunch of things.
Fair.
Alrighty, and
Alright.
yeah, we'll take a short break and we'll be back with you shortly.
D.
Alrighty, and welcome back to FMK Anime. Let us move on to our next show of the FMK, which should be The Detective is Already Dead. Or, as I should say, The Detective has been dead. So I went and took a little gander at the finale. Siesta is 4 different people at once.
Oh, great!
While all of them are also the same person, like a hive mind. So, Idol Girl, black-haired girl, and 2 other girls all have a different part of Siesta's heart. And they all act like a hive mind. It's really fucked up, and for some reason there's a lot of VTuber ads in this show.
That's not how hearts work!
You see, what we did was we extracted the lady's heart. We cut it up into, like, fine, separated it into the individual parts, and then gave it to whoever the fuck we felt like. 'Cause screw it.
I guess there might be some implications that Spess, the villain group, was the one that did that, but it's nowhere near confirmed, and there's this really dumb line where at the end, one of the siestas is like, my wish, my final dying wish, even though I'm alive, and 4 different people. So actually, I have a net gain. My dying wish was for you to take down Spess to the main character. The main character's like, fine, I will take down Spess. And that's, like, essentially the end of the show. And it's like, I guess season 2? Shrug?
Fuck?
Maybe it would have worked better if I watched the other connecting episodes, but I highly doubt it.
I mean, it sounds like it's just a fucking mess anyway.
It sounds like where it ended was where it should have started. Like, if taking down Spess wasn't the fucking goal from the beginning, what the hell was the other 12, 13 episodes about?
From what I understand, finding out that Siesta was 4 different people. It was all about Siesta.
Really? Oh man, fuck this show.
It kind of did what some other shows have recently been doing, where they do like small 2 to 3 episode arcs, but like this one, it really pissed me off because it was like, oh, it sounds like, because the first little arc, our first 3 or 4 episodes, we're finding out that Idol Girl and black-haired girl had a part of Siesta's heart in her, and then they do it again for the 2 next arcs, and I'm just sitting here going, but that's stupid. That's not how hearts work. That's stupid. This story is stupid.
You can't just cut up a heart and give it to other people and then it'll be fine.
Like, I mean, I know it's possible to, like, give metal heart valves to people. Half of my dad's heart is made out of metal.
I mean, yeah, there's like pacemakers and metal valves and something, but you can't just splice someone else's biological heart into yours and hope it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Guess why that stuff's metal? Because you can't just use that with flesh.
This is supremely stupid.
Yeah, the show is stupid. It's really dumb. I watched the finale and I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? The worst part is I feel like I missed nothing not watching the other episodes. Like, I was able to grasp, oh, so all 4 of these girls have a part of Siesta's heart. And the confusing part about this has nothing to do with me skipping episodes. Okay.
So, I mean, I guess they just want an excuse to make a harem.
Yeah. It's a harem show.
A harem of all the same girl that likes him. Because they're all Siesta.
the amount of people who, like, watched this instead of girlfriend and just got a bad harem? Like,
God,
expecting something highbrow instead of a bad harem?
Those poor fucks.
Those poor fuckers.
I'm
I
so
have
glad.
nothing else to say about... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go.
I was gonna say, I have nothing else to say about this show other than that. I can't...
I just have my sheer fucking bewilderment at, well, how, what, who the, what, huh? No.
Yeah, like, that was the second show that died. It deserved those knives. Like, I came out the gate swinging with this show. I hated it. I'm glad it's dead. I'm glad we didn't get any more of it. Still, it seems that the only redeemable feature about it is Siesta's design. Like,
yeah, no, it's still good. No, it shouldn't have died as early as it did. Another show should have died before it.
I hard disagree with you. I hated this show, but I understand where you're coming from with the next one.
Not the next one, but in a few.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at the graveyard, not the proper order.
Is my audio okay? Sorry, Discord on my laptop forced an update, so I'm just swapping over to phone real quick.
Audio's fun right now.
Yeah, you seem fine. If a little tinnier than you were before, but that shouldn't matter.
Honestly, if it works well with me on my phone, I might just stick on my phone for now because Discord has been very unstable today.
Okay.
Do you think the audio is fine? Can someone listen in on the stream and let us know?
From my perspective, it's fine. I don't know. Mikan has to, just so we don't get any audio crossover.
Yeah. Sorry about
Alright,
that.
speak about it again, me.
Hello, it is me, the Mep. We have 5 other shows.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay. Then let's move on to our next show for the retrospective. Our next show is Remake Our Life. This show has stayed pretty solid for me overall. I think I'm the only one that's been continuing watching it, right?
Yep.
Its latest episode isn't my favorite because it's a little bit confusing for me. Because the main character helps out Kawasagawa, and then he's like, okay, cool, I was able to help her out without destroying anything. He goes into work the next day. Oh, and his coworker's like, oh yeah, she's flying to Onikawa today. And he's like, what the fuck? No, not again. And he goes to the airport where she's like, you fucking idiot, I'm going to visit my sister. He's like, oh, okay, I didn't ruin your life. And there's this whole segment where she's talking with him, and I actually did like her speech to him, being like, whether or not people quit, that is not on you. You were the one that chose to help them. They were the one that chose to take your help or leave it. And she just gives him this talking to, like, even if it was your actions directly, or even if it was your actions that indirectly caused it, that is not on you because you were trying to help them. And I don't know. I kind of liked that message too. The show seems to be taking on a message of what it means to help people versus what it means to do everything for someone.
So, it basically said, no, everything's not your fault, despite the fact that we have definitive proof that, yes, everything was your fault.
No, she essentially... It is still his fault, but what she essentially tells him is that even if it was your actions, you shouldn't feel bad about it. You shouldn't be in this rut. You should continue moving on because they were the ones who took it that way. That was not your intention. You should not be distraught over it. And it's this nice little pep talk she gives him to cheer him up. And then she confesses her love to him, which is kind of... I don't know if we should fit another point in this love triangle here, but okay.
And then it goes into becoming more of a harem.
No, because at the end of the episode, the pink-haired is up again. He's about to travel back in time once more.
Yeah.
Yeah, her feelings came for him after the point in time that we were in, so I don't think it'll affect it a lot. I'm starting to see where people are coming from when seeing the show. When people say the show is redo porn, I can kind of see it, but I still like it. I still like the message it seems to be going for. Well, what Kawasagawa says might seem contradictory to what Kyo was going through. I find myself liking it because it does beg the question. It was his actions that indirectly caused Shinoaki to quit art and Tsurayuki to drop school, but should he let that destroy him? Like, should he let that eat away at him? Because he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. That was not his intention.
I
Interesting
just want to state this. People saying this is a redo porn is fucking stupid. Yeah, no, it's a redo fantasy, but calling it redo porn is a fucking dumb thing. It's a fantasy about starting over and doing better the second time. In what way is it fucking porn? There's a word for it. It's called fantasy. Use it, you dumb fucks.
Exactly. People do that with fucking everything. It's like, oh, it uses
porn. It's a fucking redo. No, it's a revenge fantasy. It's a fucking redo fantasy.
It has a bunch of gore in it. It's just gore porn. No, fuck you.
That was on me. I was trying to find the word and I couldn't find it, so I just used porn and substitute. That was my bad.
Alright, I thought people had been fucking using that word on forums again, like they did with Redo of a Healer or whatever the hell other shows it was, when they're just like, it's just revenge porn.
I've seen people call it redo porn, but for the most part, people have been calling it redo. There was not a fancy word. There was a Japanese word they used for it, redo shoujo or something like that. Which essentially just means like dream. It's like, like people dream to redo their life. And...
Yeah, I mean, which is essentially saying redo fantasy with the different words.
Yeah, it sounds like it was basically going for like more of a subgenre thing, which I wouldn't be surprised if this was a subgenre, bigger subgenre, I should say.
Mm.
But yeah, I had a rocky relationship with this show from the start. Like, my first few notes, I literally wrote down when it comes to fuck or kill. I'm like, I'm gonna go with the crowd on this one. Like, I had no idea what to feel first time through. A couple episodes in, we had a bit of time travel shenanigans actually show up, and I was super into it. And we had some of the film school stuff that they were doing, slice of life film school stuff they were doing, and I was interested in that because I'd lived that life. But it just kind of did a bunch of other things that made me think I would rather give my time to another show, to another thing entirely. I wasn't interested in the romance at all, but I rarely am, so like, hey. And I felt like it wasn't paying off with the time travel stuff enough early on. I admit that was a bit of a mistake, because it obviously does later on, and I'm happy that it does that. But yeah, it's just... Yeah, it was fine. Like, I don't know, I still don't know what to think about it. I have an immense amount of mixed feelings. I don't think I'm going to watch through to the end, but I'm glad I watched what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, looking through my notes, I only had glowing praise for the show until it went to a screeching halt with the fucking romance being introduced and how poorly I felt they handled it.
I don't imagine the romance is going to get a whole lot more, considering there's only one episode left and it's going to be him going back in time. But with the numbers this show's been doing, I do see a possible season 2, because there is enough light novel material for a season 2, from what I understand. So I feel like the show is going to end with him going back in time, somehow he either gets back in time before Tsurayuki quit, or he goes back in time to the same point and manages to convince Tsurayuki to stay somehow. I imagine it's going to be a nice little wrap-up episode of him getting back into the school life, and maybe a teaser for a season 2 or something. I don't know. A lot of shows from this season have been teasing season 2s. Like, Duke did it, fucking Vanitas did it. I think another one did.
No, a lot of them haven't been teasing too much. At least from the ones I've watched.
Fair enough.
I don't like that, if that's the way that the anime industry is going, because one of the things I love about anime is that you watch one season and it can be a self-contained story and you're done. And I don't want it to become the sequel drought that is everything else in the world right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's my issue I have with video games right now. Everything's just a fucking sequel. Or a remake. Or a remaster. Or a re-release.
Deathloop is supposed to be pretty fun from what I hear.
What now?
Deathloop, it's... I guess you wouldn't have heard of it. It's a PS5 exclusive. It's there are 2 rival assassins trapped in a time loop, and it's made by the guys that made Bulletstorm.
What?
That sounds like it could be pretty cool. Except I don't have access to that because I don't have the magical time powers to acquire a PS5.
Wait, why did you immediately go to Bulletstorm of all the things that Arcane has done? Come on, Dishonored, Prey, these 2 games that were big and took up a lot of time in people, and you went with Bulletstorm?
Dishonored and Prey. Yeah, no, that sounds like it would be pretty good.
I'd also go with Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, because that game's rad, but whatever.
Limit, out of all the games Arcane have done, Deathloop plays the most like Bulletstorm. That is why I compared the 2.
I've seen Bulletstorm. I haven't played it yet, though.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Either way.
Either way, do you guys have anything else to say on Remake? I've said my piece.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to say. It does a lot of things. It says a lot of good statements and a lot of interesting points and a lot of views on relationships, help, and relying on others. It's just a shame that they had to fucking go crashing into the brick wall with how they handle other things. But, you know, it was good, and it really made me think about a lot of things. Yeah.
Now, let's move on to the next show on our list that has an episode. Girlfriend, episode 12. At the start of the season, if I knew 2 shows, only 2 were going to survive, I would not have guessed Girlfriend would be it.
At the start of the season, you would have guessed a lot, because, I mean, we all went to Girlfriend, like, alright, let's see what this shit is.
I know, but if, like, let's say... Oh, sorry.
I was like, oh, this is going to be trash. There's no way it's going to make 3 episodes. Like, it's probably going to be one of our first kills. Holy shit, why is this good?
And our finale. Nagisa tells Saki how she fell in love with Naoya just before Naoya confronts her. Then he and all the girls chase her around town and force her to admit that she wants to be number 1 as well. After all is said and done, Nagisa becomes true to her feelings, and they finally tell Shino about their relationship, so we know, Shino wants to break up the relationship because she wants to give up on Naoya herself. That's an interesting way to go with her character.
That's so much more interesting than polygamy bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just gotta say, man, I am super happy with the way that what they did with Nagisa this episode. I am so glad she got this big finale for mostly herself to drive the plot and to drive the conflict.
Yeah, because of all...
Oh. And here's the cool thing about it. Like, that stuff about her getting kind of sidelined throughout this whole thing, it was intentional. Like, throughout this whole show, she absolutely has been. She has been the side piece to both Saki and Milika and their fight. And it's been like that, and I felt like that, especially during, like, one of the episodes that focused around Saki and Milika. Important, like, there was a point where she, like, blackmailed Milika in order to get her onto the roof, and I was like, right, Nagisa exists. I forgot about her. And I'm glad, and, like, it did that, and that was totally intentional, because it made this payoff, like, matter. Because I totally did have those feelings that Nagisa was being sidelined. God damn! What's smart writing? It's simple, but it's smart. I didn't expect that from the show.
Oh yeah.
This was such a good finale. I know we mentioned how Vanitas felt like it was setting up for its second season, its finale. This felt like it was wrapping up its season finale. Its season.
This was a fantastic finale with points that could lead to a second season, but it could also just end there. It could be an open-ended ending and not go further. It was a good thing of Saki and Nagisa getting comfortable in their relationship with Naoya.
Mm-hmm. And I hope once this has enough material for a season 2, that it gets a season 2.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be great.
It's done enough numbers. Hell, the How to Not Summon a Demon Lord has shown me that ratings don't matter in getting more seasons.
Western ratings, at least.
Well, we don't know what really constitutes what gets a second season or not. I guess it's what sells the most merch and whatever draws in the most money. Because companies go for whatever is more profitable.
Yeah. But God, I love this show to bits. Like, it's had its couple of weak episodes for me, like episode 4 in particular, and honestly, no, just episode 4. That's the only one I would actually consider weak.
Yeah.
This has become my favorite comedy anything. Because no matter what, I can watch an episode and I will still laugh.
It's not my favorite comedy. It's not even my favorite anime comedy. Because Konosuba still made me laugh more than this. And when it comes to above all comedy, Scrubs is still the best comedy ever fucking written.
That's fair. It's just, of all comedies that I've personally seen, this one take for me.
Fulfilled. That's how I feel at the end of this. Like, at the end of Vanitas, I felt like that longing for more, that desire for more that comes after the end of a bunch of things. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of sad it's over. When Girlfriend ended, I felt like I got exactly what I needed out of the show. I didn't know I wanted it, but I got what I needed.
Vanitas
and I feel satisfied.
Vanitas left you wanting, while Girlfriend left you satisfied. It's Girlfriend is like putting your cutlery down after a nice meal, being satisfied with everything you have. Not too full, but still enjoying the meal you had. While Vanitas is you put your cutlery down after you finish eating, and you still want more, but you don't want to order an entire meal more because at the same time you're not that hungry.
Oh, fuck. By the way, just real quick, everyone. So I'll say mine first. I rated Peach Boy a 6 by the end of it, and I rated Detective a 4 by the end of it. I forgot that.
Oh right, I forgot we were doing that.
I don't even know if I gave Peach Boy a rating.
I mean, we all said those up at the time that we killed them, right?
We did,
I think so.
I just think, saying it here might be a good refresher for people that have seen, that maybe forgot.
Actually, I think mine would have changed from Peach Boy. Peach Boy went from like a 6 to a 4 after I watched the rest of it.
And what was Detective for you?
Detective was a 3. It was just trash.
Yeah, Peach Boy was just entirely unrated. And the Detective was a 4.
Alright.
Meanwhile, Remake... did I even rate Remake? No, I haven't rated Remake either yet.
Remake is at an 8 for me.
Remake was at a 6.
Alrighty.
But back to back to best show.
Back to girlfriend. Mine is still a 10 out of 10. It's been that since episode 1.
Girlfriend is a 9. Not a 9. It's an 8 for me. I don't think it's some of my favorite, but I think it was damn fucking good. And honestly, I believe that the strength of this show, like the FMK, came out in Girlfriend. Out of all of us, who the fuck would have actually sat down and watched this if we weren't forced to for the season? Like, what a diamond in the rough that we found that looked like it was just trash.
Oh yeah, I can probably say with my anime habits recently, there's no way I would have sat down and watched this.
Yeah, like the first fall season of FMK, I felt that with everything because I hadn't watched anime in such a long time. Same with the winter season. By spring, I was like, okay, I'm back in the groove of watching anime. But I got that feeling with Shadow's House of, I thought I was gonna hate this. I never would have watched this, but this is fucking good. Like,
God, Shadow's House was just a roller coaster of being unsatisfied to getting more than I thought I ever wanted to being snatched away from me.
Lord. But yeah. Girlfriend. I love this show, and I hope it returns my love back. Girlfriend, will you marry me?
But here's where things change. I'm going to pull a Naoya, and I'm going to marry girlfriend on top of Vanitas.
Ah!
Or not, because I can't do that, I don't think, in the rules of the show.
Unfortunately,
wait, that's illegal.
Unfortunately,
She'd told you that.
Unfortunately, we're only given one ring per person. So
okay, you know what? Fine, I'll take it with my boys then.
Yeah, I mean, as Shino said as well, fucking polyamorous marriage is illegal, so you can't do that.
But if it was, and if it was allowed by the rules of the game, if it was allowed by the rules of the game at least, I'd totally go for this too, because the show was also great. Like, I loved both equally. And hey, guess what? The two shows I liked survived to the end. I'm a fucking murderer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What about you, Makan? Do you have a proposal to make?
Nope. Do you?
Right. I just did. I married girlfriend.
Oh, you did. Sorry, I got a bit sidelined by something. Good job.
What a good show. What a surprisingly good show.
It was between... Okay, let me look at the watch list real quick. It was between 3 or 4 for me. Because it was between Vanitas, Girlfriend, Aquatope, and Remake. But because Remake didn't finish, I didn't. I nixed it off my list. And when I was looking at the 3, I kind of did the same with Aquatope. I was like, I love Aquatope, but it hasn't even had its like arc finale yet, so I didn't consider that. And when considering between Vanitas and Girlfriend, I looked and I was like, I always loved Girlfriend. And I always loved Vanitas, but just it had that little edge over it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all gave this episode fucks, right?
Oh yeah, this one also had a perfect run.
This one also had a perfect run, and goddamn it, what an underdog story this was. Like,
oh yeah, no, we didn't state if we fucked this, but I guess we all do.
Yeah.
We kind of just went right into it, but I mean, we all had nothing bad to say about that episode, so...
Yeah.
No, this was a fantastic finale for this show. It was heartfelt, it was funny, it was actually talking about some serious stuff that deals with these relationships and the issues with it, and it's perfect for what the show is.
Exactly, like... And it totally did confront with, like, here's the problems with it, but, like, you know what? Fuck those problems. We're happy, we're gonna go on with it. And what would have gotten me to kill this show is if at the end, the confrontation happened, and now you had to choose someone. And there was a definitive girl who, quote-unquote, won.
God, that would have tanked this show into shit.
I would have been so mad, but I'm so glad it didn't. I'm so happy it didn't.
Knowing that there was more volumes, I'm sure it wasn't going to do that, but that was a worry, admittedly. Like, I do love...
I mean, I'll be real with you, that was never a worry for me, because that would go against everything the show set up.
Yeah. I do love how he was like, I'm going to tell Saki's mom, and after, like, Shino had that talk, he's like, the fuck you are?
No!
And then when they're in the gym locker place, fucking Milika comes in, yo, and then clings onto him too. Saki starts clinging on him. Shino comes in, you're 3-timing? No, it's only 2-timing, I swear. That's still not a good thing.
You're 3-timing. No, I'm 2-timing. Get it right.
Lovely.
The show, you guys, it won my heart.
It's a wonderfully stupid roller coaster.
I adored this thing start to finish. It's like I keep saying, what a fucking underdog story. Who would have guessed? Like, who would have guessed that this is, out of all of the good quality shows we got, all the quality that we saw and that we thought was going to come, like, the first episode, I always talked about how fucking stacked this roster felt. And who would have thought that out of the two that survived, the fucking harem about a poly relationship, like, made it to the end. Perfect run.
Yup.
If that's everything we have to say, then I shall move on. Then we shall move on to the Duke of Death and his maid. This was another one where the finale announced a second season, and as far as season finales go, it was okay. The Duke went and talked to his mother, finally confronted her about how she's a very terrible, no good, mean person, and announced that, with your support or not, I'm gonna marry Alice. I don't care if you make my brother the head of the house. That's what I'm gonna do. It's what I want to do. And he left without hearing what she had to say, and I thought that was really good. I thought that was a really nice way to sort of, not wrap up, it's obviously not done, but like, have a point of conflict with his family, of him publicly announcing, I don't fucking care about the family. We are not your things. My brother and sister are their own people too, and I'm going to marry this girl. And I don't know, I liked it. It's also implied that his mother was either romantically interested or very close with Alice's mother, so that's also a bit weird, but I'm going to choose...
That sounds... I don't know, that sounds a bit maybe far-fetched. That might be you implying things.
See, I'm going to choose to believe that it was a friendship way. It was just the way she kept talking about Alice's mother, and the way that she kept being like, oh, you're just as beautiful as her, your skin is just as fair, your breasts are just as big. It's just like, okay, lady, hold up. Where's the... Well, I guess Alice is of age, so I don't need the pedo whistle, but you at a point it gets a little creepy.
Well, I mean, this show is constantly creepy with how overly horny it is at every second.
I mean, I only had no problem with it when it was when the mother was doing it, because at the very least with Duke and Alice, you can tell the Duke is into it.
I mean, yeah, I've had a problem with it since after the first 10 minutes in the first episode when the joke got old and they kept doing it.
Huh. I think it's fine. The jokes aren't particularly offensive. They're pretty few and far between.
Yeah, well, it's the same joke, so.
Yeah, the show existed.
It shouldn't have.
I mean, I'm not that hard on it, but I mean, it was a good sleep aid when I watched it. There was a couple times where I watched it and I fell asleep to it, and it worked adequately like that.
I like the show well enough. I am happy that I watched it. It's at a solid 7 for me.
The CGI was fine. I'm happy Meep likes it. That's all I really can say about the Duke.
A couple episodes after we kill it, the CGI actually gets really good. I'm pretty sure they were working on whatever engine or models they used as they were going on, because as the episodes were going on, there was less jank in the models. The CGI started blending with the backgrounds more naturally.
Oh, did it ever do the thing like that episode that takes place in the village where like some scenes are 3D and the others are like 2D?
I think it only ever did it one other time, and that's when they were in the world of the witches. But it wasn't very noticeable because everything, like the background paintings in the world of the witches, were so abstract and like fucked up. Well, not fucked up, but like, you know, abstract, like very out there that it's kind of hard to notice.
Yeah, because like I remember from that episode, it was like they blended in really well. Like it wasn't bad. It's just like, is that fucking hand drawn? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this show. Like, yeah, me enjoyed it. Good for him. You had a sleep aid for it. I don't see how the fuck that's possible. This show was aggressively boring or outright obnoxious at every fucking second.
Other than that, that's what I have to say on The Duke. I overall enjoyed it. I'm probably going to be watching the second season. Then let's move on to the Dungeon of Black.
Hold on. Let me bring here. Fucking Duke of Death and his maid. Don't worry that it's made out of rope or that you wear it around your neck. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Oof. Yeah, if that's what we have to say about the Duke.
What are we rating it?
A fucking 2.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not as horribly offensive as Full Dive or Koikimo, but it is worse than those shows in its quality.
I think that's a little harsh.
It's the harsh truth.
I give it a fine. I give it a 5. It was fine, I guess. Boring at most.
I gave it a 7. I liked it. I found it entertaining. Manga probably would work better for me. I'm probably going to start reading the manga now.
I wish I could cleanse it from my memory.
But there we go. Is that it? Are we done with sexual harassment, Maid?
Yep.
Harassment, because the guy clearly likes it and wants it to continue.
It's still harassment, Maid.
If he wants it to continue, then it's not. It means he wants.
He constantly asks her to not, so it is harassment.
But anyways, moving on to the other piece of shit. I mean, what?
Ah, yes. Dungeon of Black Company.
Well, me passing watched it, so I guess I'll go ahead. Because I watched the rest of it. It's continuing with the normal stuff it does. He comes back from the future and starts dealing with the dungeon. They get into more of the details of how the world works, how everyone there, even the humans, are different and have their own organs that can filter through magic and make them stronger by it, and he is objectively the weakest person in that universe because he doesn't have that organ. He manages to get the gun he stole from the future to work, allowing it to filter magic for him and him to actually be decent in combat, doing some fights. Of course, they do some kind of stupid comedy with it, though, having the gun overload with magic and just suck the magic from the area around him, which just fucking destroys everything and ruins people's clothes because they're also made with magic, and the gun has a fucking yandere personality. So that was a thing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, shit happened! Shit happened!
Okay.
They battle their way through the dungeon, going deeper until they get to floor 4, which is an expansive, luscious forest with its own sky. There they meet the substitute that the dungeon did for Rim when she left, currently being tended for by the Queen Ant and sick because the dungeon has taken some drastic changes, which is messing with her. They spend a lot of time sorting out the dungeon's ecosystem as Rim gets to build her relationship with the other version of herself, which is technically her sister, I guess, while Ninomiya kind of takes the request by Rim in a very kind-hearted way to try and solve it, to help her out. And through a lot of work and through a lot of ecosystem changes, manages to make her better, but there's still problems at the floor below, which goes into, I think it was the second to last episode, where they battle through it with the help of some knights that was sent down there. Ninomiya's manliness and general leadership makes a knight go full fucking gay for him, which was a trip. But they managed to get through it, destroy the controls for all the golems, and in the end, Nomiya betrays them all and takes control of the entire dungeon, getting the power to basically change the dungeons as he sees fit and control them. The last episode is him making a giant monopoly of it and generally using his business sense.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Sorry, I got interrupted. And generally using his business sense because, like he was before, he's a shrewd motherfucker who played the entire stock market and clearly is fucking intelligent and good at it because he just made himself a stable living on it. And he keeps crushing the company of the other girls, so they are kind of at their wits' end as the hero lady leaves his company because she's loyal to the other one. I forgot what Dragonborn's name was right now.
Right.
He went into research and developed the Demonite to be more sustainable. He's working on actually making the dungeons not die out, which is what ruined the world before. And he all the while is making insane profits. Rasa and the girl who was the loan shark that attacked him a few episodes back are out drinking and complaining about the entire thing when Ranga confronts them about it and generally tells them that maybe they should follow Ninomiya and see if they can change for the better as well. She then has an idea to hire the hero lady to try and stop Ninomiya. That's where it ends right now because it's not the last episode yet. And a lot of fucking shit happened during it, but it keeps up the general comedy of it, and the character growth of Ninomiya in whatever ways it goes has been interesting.
I admit I kind of came out the gate swinging a little hard there. It wasn't that bad. Like, I definitely got what I wanted within the first 6 or so episodes before I started killing it because, yeah. I don't know.
I have it at a 2.
That's because your taste is bad.
Nope, my taste is fine.
No, it's not.
Yes, it's fine.
Both of you have trash taste. You were fucking some of these shows when, like, way before that they turned bad. Way after they turned bad.
Well, I mean, some of them I was fucking when they weren't even bad. But you guys decided, nah, I've had enough of this show because I want to watch something else.
No, I feel like all the kills I made on the shows were shows that are like, I think this deserves a kill. The only one I killed that actually I continued watching was Itaden, I think.
Either way, I really enjoyed the Dungeon of Black Company. It follows the story of a guy who has a mindset very close to my own. I am all generally also a shrewd kind of an asshole, but I do try my best to help people when I've gotten to know them. So, yeah, it relates to me with that to see that he's not infallible with his morals and helps out the people he actually does care about. Because when he actually does have everything as well, he questions Wanibe if he's happy working for him after he essentially forced him to follow him. Which Wanibe said that he didn't like him at first, but what he's done has helped out the world and helped out his life. So he's happy that it happened.
And do you have a proposal that you're going to make?
Yes, I am going to marry it. It's not as good as Vanitas or Girlfriend Girlfriend. I know that. It's not as good, but it is the show that speaks the best to me. And it is a fantastic show in its comedy, its world building, and it has some extremely good character writing. Yeah, no, it definitely gets the marriage from me, and something I can say that I would hope that you can both agree on. Rim has been a fucking treat whenever she's on screen at every single moment.
If I could be playing the gif of her shadow boxing in the background in the first feature episode, I would be. I loved Rim. Like she's a little bit of a gag character, yeah, but I mean, she's cute and she does her job very well. I quite liked her.
But yeah, that's that.
Personally, I give it a 7. It was good. It was fine. It's just it didn't really have the staying power to last for me.
I think I was writing it an 8 for the longest time, but it got bumped to a 9.
Oh, wow!
It didn't set out to tell any complex story of interpersonal relationship between vampires and humans. It didn't go off to build a comedy poly relationship. It set off to show this one guy by working with his own mindset as a normal human through this fantasy world that is a fucked up corporation. It did what it set out damn near perfectly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on your marriage, question mark?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the shame the show that it died out early because it's the best one.
And our last show of the retrospective should be Sonny Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I have only watched one more episode of Sonny Boy, and that was episode 3, and I actually watched it because of a dream. I had a dream where I watched Sonny Boy episode 3, and it was amazing. It was the best thing I had ever seen. I was like, and when I woke up, I'm like, fuck, was that a sign? And I eventually got around to watching episode 3, and I was like, I still didn't like that. Okay, my dream was just lying to me.
Deadass. Sorry.
No, you do. You say yours. Your point, Loomis.
Deadass. This show should not have been on our list. Like, this show, like, from what I saw, like, this show doesn't seem like it fits well into this watch weekly, then talk about it formula. It is super it sounds like it's super abstract and deals with a lot of themes and shit that pile on top of each other throughout the whole thing. And to be honest, hearing about how it deals with its story and plotline later on, I think me knifing it was just a matter of time. I just kind of did it a bit earlier because, like, I hear that more episodes are supposed to be like episode 2, where it's just some fucking no one character that we don't know anything about shows up and goes through their arc, and then that arc ends, and it's not about the main characters that we're actually invested in. It's not about, like, actually exploring this dimension or whatever, and I'm just like, maybe I made the right call there.
It's less that, and it's more like every week it was like, power of the week. We're in a new world, or not power of the week, rules of the week, because they didn't really use the powers, but they used, like, each world having its own rules, and it kind of followed a weekly structure where each week it showed a new world with its own rules, with its own rule, and, like, stuff would happen around that, and it explored. The director made this show to explore his philosophy from what I was seeing in an interview, so it continues to just it essentially, from the sounds of it, it sounds like I would have still fallen off of it, because I don't know, I felt like it was too abstract for its own good, especially in episode 2.
I didn't watch a single episode after what I watched. It's not that I didn't want to. I just didn't kind of think about the show after it got dropped. And I feel like that's a pretty damning thing when once it's out of my perspective, it's out of my memory completely.
Uh, yeah, I feel you there. Honestly, oddly enough, I felt the same way about the game Undertale. After I beat it, it kind of just didn't leave an impression on me.
It's a show that certainly was trying to have a large impression. It certainly wanted to be convoluted and convoluted in a story that leaves people thinking. There's a problem when you make something like that. Sometimes it will succeed, sometimes it will flop, and this story, as much as it was definitely convoluted and a lot to think about if you really wanted to, it really didn't make me want to think about it. It wasn't that interesting. It didn't give me that many interesting characters or people's struggles I care about. Like, sure, there was one boy who was like Sonny or whatever the fuck. I don't think we ever actually learned his name. If that's supposed to be our main character or not.
I don't think I don't think there's supposed to be a main character. I think all the characters are supposed to be. This is gonna sound weird. I think all the characters are supposed to be side characters, and the setting is the main character.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think definitely this is a show without really main characters. It's just a show with a bunch of characters that interact with each other. No one really being the main focus, but still, a show like this or a story like this definitely needs something as a focus point for me to be invested in and see the viewpoint from and want to see the struggle for and want to know about, so I can consider what is happening and what is interesting to them. Because the world itself, I can think about it as much as I want to, but I don't really know how it works. It has different rules all the time, which makes it not really work for me.
Hmm. Yeah, it. I don't know. I always had a mix. Like when I watched episode one, I came out swinging, but then I rewatched it, and I felt I honestly it didn't upset me the second time I watched it. It more just kind of blew by me, and I was like, okay, I don't actually hate this, but I don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with Limbus that it's not a show you can talk about weekly. You can talk about it and kind of speculate about what the rules were and how the story was and how it worked out. Episodic stories, as this is looking to shape up, is kind of perfect for that sort of format, but uh, this story itself is just kind of strange. And strange can be good, but strange in the way this is kind of doesn't work out. At least not for me.
Yeah. It's clearly for someone. It's been getting a lot of following, but it's definitely not for me. Kind of the way I view it at the end of the day. I'm not upset that I watched it. Like, I'm actually pretty far away from my emotions I had on episode 1. I actually don't hate that I watched it. I don't hate that it exists. It just doesn't do anything for me personally.
Uh, yeah, I, over the course of one episode, I don't know how, like, I don't think I've ever had a show that has been like, I'm really interested in this. This looks like a cool show to, oh, this is where it's going. Okay, I'm fine. Never mind. As fast as I did with Sonny Boy. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it was totally because the first episode I watched for the FMK was Sonny Boy. Like, it was the first that I watched, and yeah, I was super jazzed to like talk about it, and I was super jazzed about joining up with the show and stuff. So I think those feelings got confused with this. And I mean, it's not to say that I don't like abstract stuff. David Lynch is one of my favorite artists / directors of all time, and he's fucking abstract as hell. But it's just I felt like I feel like that type of storytelling doesn't really lend well to an episodic format like this.
Yeah, I think an episodic format works well, but yeah, the story needed more of a overarching and more forward pushing progression constantly instead of being a different thing every episode.
Definitely, I don't think anything story of the week without a like actual story progression to it. I don't think anything like that has ever survived through the FMK. Like the closest thing I can think of is girlfriend, but even then there was a steady, like constant story going on. It's just each week had its own antics.
Well, I mean, yeah, girlfriend wasn't episodic. You need to if you can't just jump in the middle of that and watch an episode self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
It would lose whatever the hell was happening because it was a constantly moving story. I don't think episodic things are bad necessarily. Some of the best things I've watched have been episodic. Like I said, the best comedy I've ever watched, in my opinion, Scrubs, is episodic. You can watch a single episode out of context of everything else and still have fun.
I have a personal love for like the space western subgenre, and pretty much everything that I love about the subgenre are like, you know, they're episodic series. It's The Mandalorian, it's Cowboy Bebop and Firefly and stuff. I love episodic when done right. It's just, it feels like I don't want this story to be like, I would have preferred this story to be like a 2 hour, concise 2 hour chunk instead of, oh, here's this new person and we're gonna go through and do their whole mental trauma and everything over the course of 22 minutes while also dealing with our other characters that are more focal point. Nah.
This show was looking to set out to be some artsy-fartsy bullshit, but kind of bungled that.
Yeah. I'm sure that someone's watching this right now and screaming, "You really don't get it!" And no, we don't. Yeah, but I mean, hey, that's why we didn't.
I guess we don't. But that's the thing with these shows. Not everyone will get it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get it. Fair enough. I don't like it because I don't get it.
And that's why we killed it. Like, that's why we stopped talking about it. So, hey.
Yeah. And I mean, we've only watched 2 episodes of this. Meeple watched 3, but I mean, there's only so much I can talk about it. I've said the points I have about how this story works and why I think it flopped for us.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad by any means, but if you're going to watch it, make sure you have a tolerance for really artsy, really abstract stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I do sometimes, but it's just not something I have weekly. I'd rather binge it all and just be left with my thoughts of the experience.
I 100% agree with you, but I'm sorry, I just have to point this out. For the fucking marriage and... Oh no, that is her hand! God damn it! For one of the wedding, the marriage, pictures, I swear to God, I thought me put the fucking ring on Milika's boob.
No, I put it on her hand, you asshole.
When it comes to me for rating, I wouldn't give this a rating. I feel like it's just... I didn't watch enough of it to give a proper rating. I'm just like gonna agree that this probably is not for me, and I'm not gonna continue it.
I believe I gave it a 4, but let me check.
I haven't given it a rating either. I don't think I could right now.
I gave it a 5, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have to say about Sonny Boy, I guess.
Oops. So, that's it. That's the summer season. We're done. We just have an award ceremony left to do. Oh my god, I don't have to watch any anime this week. What the fuck?
I mean, considering the award ceremony, I feel like a lot of them will be very easy to figure out.
Yeah.
Because some in their respective fields have outshone everything else.
I think I've been saying it behind the scenes a lot, but this this season was one hell of a journey. It was its own story. Like, and there was a lot of interesting moments. There was a lot of ups and there was a lot of downs, and yeah, we just had this cool underdog story with we had this cool underdog story with girlfriend. We had betrayals. We had shows that just wouldn't fucking die. Looking at fucking Duke of Death with the 5 times it was on the wheel, and just kept dodging it and getting other shows killed. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, this season teaches us that sometimes you should try shows that you think is going to be maybe the boring bullshit. Give it like 2 episodes. If you still think it's just boring tripe bullshit, drop it. But if we didn't try things like that, Girlfriend would never get watched, and that is a travesty if that would happen.
Fine.
Yeah. If anyone out there is watching this right now, if you take one thing from the show, watch Girlfriend. It's good.
Very good, in fact.
And as well, more than Girlfriend, things that comes in the future. If you find a show that you are on the fence of, thinking that it might just be the same boring tribe bullshit that you've seen before, give it a shot. It might surprise you.
Give it 1 episode. 1 episode is all it took for Girlfriend to capture us. So
give it 1. If you're still unsure, give it another 1.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Don't immediately just brush it to the side. Like, try another thing. Try new things. Like, fucking, I would have never watched this in years. Slice of life comedy romance. Ew. Like, everything about that makes me feel sick to my stomach. That's not what I like. But I loved this show. It was really good.
Yeah. Sometimes you just find something that works, even though, despite everything of what your usual interests are, it shouldn't.
Yeah, we did it, boys. That is the summer season.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, almost it. We still have a couple things left to do. We have the awards, which, tune in same time next week. We'll try to get through it all in one take.
We'll see if we have enough time.
We'll see if we have enough time. Who knows? It might be split up into 2. And also, I have an announcement I would like to make. The week after our awards, I have a little something planned for everyone. No, the week of our awards, I think, sometime after we're done. I'm gonna be holding a year-end retrospective, because with the end of with the summer season of 2021, that marks a year of the show being on the air. So I have a bunch of special awards prepared based on the history of the show that I'm going to be presenting to everyone in a bit, and I'm going to try to get all of our other previous guests on here as well. So I'm sure we'll see Meep, we'll see McCon, hopefully we'll see Gilly and Dalaran as well.
Dalaran, yeah.
Actually, I have confirmation we'll see Dalaran again, hopefully, as long as we can get our scheduling right. So, yeah, come on. It'll be fun. We're going to talk about the history of the show to this point, because not many podcasts get to 1 year and go as constant as we did. So, fuck it. Let's celebrate it.
Yeah.
And at the end of our winter award, or not winter, fuck. At the end of our summer awards, we'll be doing, we'll be announcing the shows for our fall season. In fact, we have a new host who's going to be coming in for fall, because unfortunately McCon has to leave us.
Yeah, with my work schedule, it would be tough for me to watch 10 anime every week. It's been manageable towards the end here with the new job I got, but yeah, it's been fun though.
Yeah. It's been fun having you on. Probably our most vicious and bloodiest killer on the show, but yeah. Meanwhile, there's Dal, the cinnamon roll, who couldn't hold up a gun even if he wanted to.
You see, I'm a lover and a killer, but I'm vicious during both.
Yeah. It was fun coming here and talking to you every week, Makan, about these shows.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Highlight of my week every week. Just talking about the shows I like is always fun, especially monkey ganging it with girlfriend. I can't believe that shit got a perfect run.
That was...
I can. It was great.
I was tempted, like, if the show hadn't actually have been, like, as good as it was, and if it hadn't have, like, done the stuff with Nagisa, I was actually contemplating going, no, this shit deserves at least one knife. But it doesn't. It was really good. It deserved the perfect run.
If it went against his morals and had him choose at the end, yeah, it would have gotten the knife from me.
Yeah.
It would have died at the end, at the last episode.
So we need to figure out nominees at some point. If we have a little bit of time, do we want to figure that out after the stream ends?
Yeah, we could talk about a bit of it, I suppose.
There's actually that, and yeah, I also want to try to talk about getting some dates in line for that year-end retrospective thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a chat about that after we go off there.
But for now, this has been summer 2021.
Yeah, that should be next week. I'll have to see what days off I have next week.
Yeah. That's summer.
Yeah.
That's summer 2021. Thank you, boys, for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks to everyone who watched through the VODs, despite the fact that they're super late. I'm sorry. As we speak, I have the second episode ready, and I'm gonna upload it as soon as I go offline. Sorry, we bitched out on that. We totally dropped the ball because of reasons in background and scheduling issues. But they're going up now, and there should be up at least one a day. I'm giving myself that.
And I apologize. The spring VODs aren't even up yet.
Oopsie.
Wait, the spring VODs are totally up. It's just they're missing the awards. But we don't have that file, so we're gonna have to maybe talk with people about that.
Well, Dal said he had it saved. I just need to find a time where he's free to upload it.
Yeah, we just need to get that uploaded at some point. But don't worry, that'll be up as well. I have everything in my YouTube, which you can find through lemus.card.co. Channel 646 is what my channel's called. There is a playlist made now that is Anime FMK Summer 2021. And yeah, you can watch this all from the beginning. And preferably, any future VODs will also be up there.
It's been a ride. I'll just say this right now. Since we did the announcement that I am leaving for the next season, I hope everyone's been enjoying me having me here. I know there were some people who thought I might have been too loud or too angry or too vicious to things. I get it. My energy's not for everyone, but I hope at least that you had some enjoyment with my opinions and thoughts on the shows we've been watching.
I hope his verbal smackdowns on me have been entertaining to everyone else.
And if you're worried that they're going to be stopping, don't worry. I'll keep them up even if the show is not, even if I'm not on the show.
It turns out my therapist is actually a really big fan of the show. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. They're paying off Makan to do more mental damage. It's the perfect loop.
That's why he hated Vivi.
Yeah, I hated Vivi just because my pockets are lined. Conspiracy theory. It's not just because the show is bad.
In the pockets of the oil companies, you son of a bitch.
Alright, everyone. That's been the show. Thank you. We'll see you in the fucking awards.
Everyone knows the more unstable the person, the more likely they're to be an oil field worker.
Oil man.
We'll see you next time, everyone.
See you next time, everyone. Yeah.